Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I have to laugh because if you knew what was just going on in here, you would laugh too. Technology. I tell you, I do the same things every day. And you would think you would get the same results, but sometimes you just don't. The camera won't work. The microphone's not on. Okay, just like restart. So I just shut everything down and I can see the clock ticking away here. I've got 5 seconds. I've got 4 seconds and boom. I made it, right? I mean, I'm here. And I'm so glad that you are here too. We got a great show for you today. It's a little cloudy here today in northern Colorado, but that's okay. Definitely a fall type of day. I hope it's nice wherever you are. I've got a great show for you today. I always like to talk about what's shaping culture at the beginning of the show. And you've been seeing all these videos, right? You've been seeing all these videos of how people are not going to be getting their EBT. And if you're like me, at first when you start seeing them, you're like, oh my gosh, I tell you, Jason was working late last night, and I was already upstairs doing my red light therapy and stuff. And I was looking at some stuff, and I saw this. Somebody said that some of these EBT recipients are getting up to like $6,800 a month in government benefits. And I'd be lying if I wasn't a little floored by that. I texted Jason. I said, "Did you know this? $6,800 a month in in benefits from what is happening here?" So, I started kind of poking around because I thought, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on the show. And I found this really great TED Talk. And there was a couple of points in here that I wanted to highlight. Because, I'm always suspicious when my, quote, algorithm is full of a certain something. It's like full. It's like every day it's kind of full of something. And I'm like, okay, why do they want me to see this? Why are they wanting everybody to see this? That's my question now. Why are they wanting everybody to see this? Because yes, I know firsthand that your algorithm is not organic, okay? It is not organic. Because if it was, can you imagine if your algorithm was set up for your success? And that it was set up for you to have the healthiest, happiest life that you possibly could? Your algorithm would be full of wonderful tidbits of advice and beautiful stories. And you'd be floating on air most of the day, feeling so happy. But clearly that's not what they want. Because we all know this show is so highly censored because I talk about health and real health solutions. So it's not about the goodness of life, this algorithm. It's very purposeful. And, a lot of the tech people who work in it, that have been kind of whistleblowers, they tell you that up front. The key is to get you to stay on the platform. And unfortunately, our little brains, they're really attracted to things that outrage us, which makes us stay online a little bit longer. Anyway, so I'm like, why are they wanting me to see this? And you guys, again, this is just another ploy to divide and create chaos. So what we really should be focused on here, focused about right now, the main issue that we should all be kind of pondering, I feel like, is poverty. Why does poverty exist, right? Why? Because it isn't a black or white issue. And as this professor, I'm going to play a couple clips from his TED Talk for you. As he describes here, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's take a listen. Here it is.
So when we particularly look at poor whites in terms of poverty and drug addiction, yes, there's white privilege, but sometimes that can be a hindrance to solving the root of the problem. Here we have a photo of Martin Luther King, Jr., civil rights leader, Morehouse College graduate, as am I. In his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, published in 1967, here's a quote: "Of the good things in life, African Americans have approximately 1/2 those of whites. Of the bad, he has twice those of whites. When we turn to the negative experience of life, the Negro has a double share." And he's correct. If you look at infant mortality rates and unemployment rates, the black rate is twice the white rate. But what happens when we look at the numbers? We see here United States by the numbers. Total U.S. population, approximately 2015, 322 million. White, 63%, blacks, 14%, Latino, 17%, Asian, 6%. So it's good to keep those numbers in mind. So if we know whites are a majority, right, since whites are the majority in the United States, they will be the majority, in using Dr. King's words, in good things and negative experiences. So if this is the case, when we discuss poverty and drug addiction, there's perception that poverty is black and how the nation treats black and white drug addicts. So if whites are the majority, we know more whites use and purchase illicit drugs, but our sentence is a much lower rate. If we know whites are the majority, there were more whites who were poor than African Americans.
This is like a 20-minute TED Talk. And I really like it because he's breaking down the actual facts here. The actual facts. His name is David Canton. And at the time, this is an older TED Talk, but at the time, he was the interim dean of institutional equality and inclusion at Connecticut College. And he brings up a valid point during this talk. It's like, why are we talking about, who is living in poverty? And why are we not just addressing poverty? Because it isn't a black or white issue. And the reason why I bring this up today is because every day I'm connecting with people in health assessments. And I'll tell you, poverty is a real condition. And when you are living in poverty and you are subject to free medicine, it's bad medicine. Free medicine is bad medicine. And I'm talking even predatory medicine. I spoke to somebody today who I think is on, after the grand total, is on close to 16 to 18 medications a day. Different medications. I don't know what, I was beside myself after I got off that phone call today, because it's jail time for some of these physicians. You understand what I'm saying? This is neglect. This is predatory medicine. This is taking advantage of someone's circumstances. And so poverty is really the real issue. Why have we this amount of poverty in our country? And free, if you're living off of free food stamps and you're getting free medicine, you ain't privileged. This is the worst available care. This is the worst available food. I don't have to remind you that I covered recently that the American Heart Association was advocating for junk food to stay on EBT. Hear me again. The American Heart Association, whose primary function is to cure heart disease, was advocating for pop and chips and Pop-Tarts and all the rest of that crap to remain available to be purchased by food stamps. Let's just think about that for a second. Do you see how this is a racket? Okay? Because if you can have a whole population of people, whole demographic of people, poverty-stricken people, if you can have them on token system and let them buy this garbage food that stimulates their excitotoxins in their brain and gives them a good dopamine hit every time they eat it. Sugar is highly addictive. You've got built-in customers. You've got built-in customers. And I don't know, you guys, I am just like blown away. This assessment I had today, I think this is the most medications I've ever seen somebody on. A wonderful lady, right? A wonderful lady, very, great disposition, has struggled with her health her whole life. And instead of somebody sitting down and talking with her about metabolic health, about how the body works, They have given her a pill for every single complaint she's ever been there for. When you are on 16 to 18 medications, at this point, we don't even know what we're medicating here. We are medicating side effects from medication times 10 probably. So we need to have a discussion about poverty and handouts and entitlement and free things, because they're a trap, people. They are a trap. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Did you know that Naturally Inspired Radio is streaming on over 100 video podcasts and social media platforms? Just search your favorite platform for Tammy Cuthbert Garcia or Naturally Inspired Radio, because we're everywhere you listen, watch, and connect. We'd love for you to connect with us on BitChute. Our BitChute channel, you can go to bitchute.com and just search Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, like our posts, follow our channel, leave us a comment, and join the chat, because that helps us connect to more people and get more people connected to real solutions for health. And don't forget, go to naturalinspiredradio.com anytime for the full list of where we're featured online and on radio. Such an important topic, okay? This is the trap. I'm going to play the second clip here from this TED Talk that goes on to explain some of the facts around poverty. Here it is.
Poverty. So here we have 2 homes, one is foreclosed, so I didn't pick a trailer park, and I didn't pick public housing. I didn't put a face to it. We just call it poverty. As of today, there are 19 million white poor Americans, 8 million poor blacks. That means there is twice the number of poor whites than blacks. Let me say that one more time. There are twice the number of poor whites than blacks. So we go back to Dr. King's quote in these negative experiences. So in terms of the number, twice the number of whites are poor than blacks. So if there are more white poor people, when we think of welfare, why do we think of this black woman? Thanks to Ronald Reagan. We associate black women with welfare. If whites are the majority of poor, there are more white women on welfare. There are more whites receiving benefits, SNAP, food stamps, and all these other things associated with poverty. But this is how it works. The white poverty rate is 10%. We said whites is 64%. The black poverty rate is 28%, but blacks are 13% of the population. And this is where we have the confusion. Well, why is the black poverty rate twice the white poverty rate? And that's how we start playing these semantic games, right? So I'm thinking if I'm white and poor, my privilege is, well, at least the white poverty rate is less than the black poverty rate, but how does that help a white person on welfare? The question should be poverty. 19 million poor whites, 8 million poor blacks, that's 27 million poor Americans. And we're going to find that what leads to poverty, bad education, Poor schools, low-wage jobs. So this white privilege of being poor, is that a privilege? Does it provide a psychological benefit? Well, at least I'm not black and poor. Yeah, but you're still white and poor. You still have no job. You're still getting evicted from your home. We have to change the discourse when we look at poverty in these numbers.
These are great points, but I am going to disagree here. Okay? I agree that the issue that we should be looking at is poverty. But gosh, I am sick and tired of the same old talking points of, oh, it's, bad education or no education or, this is that. We've been saying that for how long? And we give away free grants for education. It's never been easier to get free schooling. Schools everywhere. You can get an education on YouTube, for goodness sakes. Do you really think it's bad education still? Because I don't. I think we have a moral issue. I think we have a lack of guidance issue. I think we have a mentorship issue. I think we have a failure to identify purpose in people. Well, geez, I can go on and on. I think we reward horrific behavior. Our culture rewards, hey, I'm a drug dealer. I've been a drug dealer for a long time, and then I used my drug money to become a rap artist. The only thing I can do is try to make it to the NBA. What did we learn about the NBA today? What did we learn about the NBA today? Oh, it might be rigged. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're putting all the attention on things that are morally bankrupt. And then we wonder why people aren't motivated to, chase purpose in life. We want to know, we create victim circumstances all the way through the indoctrination camps, otherwise known as school. Oh, we got to help them. We got to help people. So we actually turn them into victims as soon as we can. As soon as we can do it, we start turning people into victims. Like, oh, poor you, right? And a lot of people enjoy doing that. They actually enjoy thinking that they have privilege when they don't. But they like to act like they do, because then they can kind of look down on other people and say, well, I don't have it as bad as they do. You know what? We're all in this together, actually, because it isn't about privilege of skin color. It isn't about skin color. It isn't about being on the left. It isn't about being on the right. It isn't about being gay. It isn't about being straight. It isn't about any of that. You know what it is about? Enslavement and corporate gangsters. That's what it is actually about. You see, the gangsters, the corporate gangsters that I talk about here all the time, these are the people who are shaping culture. And they shape culture in alignment with the products and services and investments that they have. And they pay for media to shape culture. Sometimes they pay influencers up to $7,000 for one single post. And if you have a bigger audience, then they'll pay even more for you to help them shape culture. See, we're in a culture war, and there is a war on for control over culture. And it's been this way for a very long time. They're always, just like I talked about yesterday with climate change, right? That is a marketing campaign that a bunch of corporate gangsters came up with around the boardroom. And then, it just so happens that they're all invested in your climate change solutions. Isn't that just a coincidence, right? Like Brookfield, like Mark Carney with his Brookfield. All their investments are in clean energy and environment because climate change. How do you get the people to acquiesce to the actions that we need in order to be able to control the population, because we control all the energy? And that's what he's after. That's what Brookfield is after. They're after, like, all of the other tech bros and, energy investors. They're after control of the population, to be able to shape and leave their mark on history, and also build an entire empire for their legacy. You say, oh, that's crazy. That's such a conspiracy. Is it really a conspiracy to think that people will manipulate and break the law or lie for gain? Where have you been if you think, oh, no, this particular human won't lie, cheat, steal for his own profit and gain? Where do you live? Because this is planet Earth, last time I checked. And humans, they're all, we're all humans. And that's what people do. Especially people who are business-minded and know how to play the corporate game. That's what they do. So, like, I don't, it isn't, again, we're over here fighting the people, our fellow citizens, arguing left, right, black, white, all these different things, science and anti-science. Meanwhile, you look up and the corporate gangsters are laughing all the way to the bank. And every day it's a different one. What do we need to be outraged about now? When in reality, if we could actually form some unity, if we could actually just form some unity on the fact that, hey, poverty's bad. What helps people out of poverty? Community. Community helps people out of poverty. It's just fascinating because, being in business as many years as we have been, one thing that we've learned is that all business is relationships. It's all about relationships when you're in business. You want to grow your business, be good to people. Be good to people, build long-term relationships, right? Because when you do that, you build security within your business. You have people that actually want to do business with you, that are loyal to you because you're loyal to them. And corporations, the corporate gangsters, they can't do that. They can't build relationships, right? So what they do is they build relationships in their circles. They pay for politicians to pass regulation. They have revolving doors of pharma bros, people who are the CEOs of Pfizer and these pharmaceutical companies. They have a revolving door where they go into government and then back into corporate gangster world and then back into government. And then, you know what I'm saying? And this happens over and over again. Meanwhile, all us low little people over here, we're fighting over, entitlement and white privilege and LGBT and trans and who's winning here? Because we all have the same problems. We all have the same problems, and yet we're fighting with one another. Because let me tell you, even if you're, making $1 million a year, you ain't in their club. You ain't in it. And those are my favorite people. The people who, they're making pretty good money and they, I'm doing okay. Yeah, right now you are. But let me tell you, you're not in their club. You're not in it. You think you are, And that's a trick. One little regulation change, maybe another plandemic, you're done. It's time we start uniting with our friends and neighbors and starting to solve some of these problems on our own. Poverty, that'd be a big one. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
The key polyphenols in our favorite cellular reset have been shown to boost natural collagen production and improve joint comfort within just a few weeks. Steve from Oregon shared this with me. My knees used to ache every morning. 2 weeks in, the pain started fading, and by a month, I was walking the golf course again with no problem. Tammy helped me understand how inflammation really works and how to rebuild from the inside out. You can try our cellular reset today. Get a free membership, 15% discount, and a money-back guarantee by going to naturallyinspiredstore.com/reset. naturallyinspiredstore.com/reset. If you have questions about the cellular reset, what does it do? What do you mean polyphenols? If you got questions like that, just text me, 720-303-8868. That's 720-303-8868. It is truly me. It's not a bot. It's not an AI assistant or whatever. It's really me. So if you'd like more information, feel free to reach out. I guess what I'm trying to say here, you guys, about poverty, is it's really a big thing when it comes to our health, because free medicine is, I just see people suffering every single day because of free medicine, and it's free, right? It's not free. It's actually extremely expensive. It's extremely expensive. And I have a piece I'm going to cover today about a pharmacist who reveals about pharmacy benefit managers, which I've talked about on here tons of times, and explaining the system. You're going to see how expensive it is, free medicine. It's like if we all were just able to somehow get out of the free system, everybody would be better off. I feel like I can't express to you what I see on a daily basis. Like it's hard for me to put it into words, but there's definitely a correlation with poverty and health, with, free medicine, and someone who's not even taking any medicine. Like their results are so much better because it becomes a matter of polypharmacy. It's like people who are getting free medicine, they're like an empty vessel, and they just keep billing and doling out pharmaceuticals. That they just keep doing it because it's such a perfect storm, because most people who have grown up in poverty and live in poverty, a lot of them aren't exposed to other ways to become healthy. They're just not exposed to it, right? They're not exposed to natural medicine. They're not exposed to traditional Chinese medicine. They're not exposed to even the thinking. Their conditioning comes through the school system, and it's trust a white coat, right? Oh, the doctor knows the science, right? Oh, this person's smarter than me because they went to college or whatever. Okay. There's a set of like intuitive intellect that everybody possesses, right? It's like there's a I call them higher faculties, and everyone has access to those higher faculties, things like memory, things like intuition, critical thought, curiosity, these types of things. And I think that when people grow up in poverty, that kind of gets beat out of them because there's a loss of self-respect. There's a lack of mentorship. There's a lack of community, supportive community, that encourages people to explore and to tap into those type of higher faculties for being a creator, to create things. I certainly don't have all the answers for poverty. I'm not claiming that I do. I guess I'm just trying to explain and express the correlation between poverty and our medical system, and add a little bit to the conversation here that, the word entitlement is being thrown around a lot right now. Oh, so entitled, so entitled. Well, maybe, but let me tell you, that entitlement will put you in a grave faster. So like you may be getting free groceries, you may be getting free this or free that, but free health visits, whatever you're getting, that's a death sentence. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for anybody. These, it's poison. It's absolute poison. And if you look at the whole system, from of free medicine, free food in particular, that's a road to heartache all the way. It's a road to heartache all the way. We're talking about, insulin resistance, diabetes, massive inflammation, mental health issues. And then you're talking about polypharmacy, which is like, basically poison that breaks you down at a cellular level. The concept of just, a little bit of poison to heal is just bonkers at best. Let's poison ourselves. You don't need a pharmaceutical to heal. Pharmaceuticals don't heal. They keep you alive. They might keep you alive, but they do not heal anything. They don't fix nutrient deficiencies. They don't fix metabolic disease. They don't fix anything. They cover it up. And it's just so ironic because you see, a lot of people that, vote a certain way on the left, right? A lot of people that tend to, they're big on social programs. They're big on, helping people and stuff. You got to really question that because this is poison. The free food is poison. The free medicine is poison. Who you're helping, Like, I think I would go forage for berries before I would eat that food. I'm not being dramatic here when I say that stuff is poison. Disease comes from metabolic dysfunction. How you are communicating with your body leads to disease in the body. I mean, we don't even know the full scope of how nutrition impacts our health. There are researchers and people who are advocating heavily right now, and hopefully we get some traction in this area, that nutrition should be the course of action for mental illness, severe mental illness, like even schizophrenia. The science is pointing towards that. And the pharmaceutical model is going down, kicking and screaming and, throwing tantrums. They're fighting back with, influencer accounts that are totally designed on pharmaceutical products to push pharmaceutical products. Like, it's a beast that's dying. People are starting to wake up. But make no mistake about it, there's nothing about entitlement to free government support like this. I start to think, they're trying to kill those people. They're trying to kill poor people. If they are giving them these medications and feeding them this food, giving them access to that food, they are trying to kill poor people. No real solutions are ever offered. No discussions on mentorship, no discussions on how to curate health in your body, no discussions on purpose, the things that actually make a difference in your life. There are no discussions on that. We just keep beating the same talking points over and over and over again. Oh, it's education. Oh, they need, what is it, more free college? Is that going to fix it? Because it doesn't seem to be doing that. I played you a clip earlier this week of a woman who had 2 degrees. She had 2 degrees. $150,000, I think it was, wasn't it? $150,000 in debt with absolutely no intention to pay it back. And she wasn't gainfully employed. That's free college. That's what it's doing. We got to rethink this, right? How about truly helping people understand why poverty is something they should want to get out of? You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I am so glad you're joining me today. Stay tuned because your Naturally Inspired moment is next.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Did you know that you can get a free 30-minute assessment with me? Yes, you can. We'll sit down and have a discussion. I do it every day, all day long, sometimes in the evenings as well. Laura from Colorado said that she was tired of quick fixes that never lasted. And she says, Tammy helped me see what my body was really asking for. And with her plan, I regained my energy, improved my digestion, and I finally feel in control of my health again. So exciting. I have so many really great stories right now that I just feel like I could just, for every person, that comes into the naturally inspired community, they usually end up with me when they're pretty broken. They feel like, I can't lose this weight. That's one of the reasons. Sometimes it's like I'm on 16, 18 medications and I feel terrible and I don't remember the last time I was happy. Sometimes it's really serious, right? And I don't give medical advice. I empower people. I empower people with information, with research. They discover what they need to be doing to curate health in their bodies. And that's the beauty of this because, I don't want you reliant on me. That's no different than the allopathic model, right? Where you go to the doctor, you're reliant on the white coat, the doctor knows best. Oh, the doctor will tell me, right? You know what? You have access to so much information now, right at your fingertips. And I get it can be overwhelming and you think, oh my gosh, where do I start? Start here. Start with Naturally Inspired. And then you learn a little something every day. Oh my gosh, I got this. Then you start getting results. Then you start sending me texts and said, I'm down 19 pounds. Start sending me texts and say, I have so much more energy. This thing that's been bothering me for 3 years, it's going away. Those are the texts I get in the mornings and throughout the day. And so if you feel that way, that every time you go back to the doctor, you're just getting another pill, another thing, to buy, to do, to get your insurance to approve, maybe it's time to do something different. Maybe it's time to discover root cause. And that's what many people are doing in the Naturally Inspired community. So try today. Give me 90 days. Give me 90 days. I'll give you priority access to my text line. I'll give you VIP access to my weekly wellness workshops every Tuesday night. And you'll start to see the difference. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. If you've got questions, I think I'm too broken to be helped. No, you're not. No, you're not. Text me. 720-303-8868. All right, let's get to our naturally inspired moment for the day. I just want to shout out to Peggy in our community because she sent me a little clip and it inspired me. And this is kind of inspired today's naturally inspired moment. If you're feeling lost, if you're feeling broken, if you're feeling like life is falling apart at this given moment in time, and you don't even know what to do, I want to encourage you to focus on health. Because when it feels like, life is heavy or directionless, you don't know what's coming next, the mind will search for meaning, the heart aches for clarity, and everything feels like out of tune and you don't know where to start. Start with your health. Start with your health, because you can find your way from a place of being exhausted, being confused, being heartbroken, all these different, grief, all these different emotions that we feel. You can find your way out of that darkness through seeking better outcomes with your health. Because when your body is struggling, your mind doesn't think clearly. And your spirit's not shining, you're not projecting your light into the world when you don't feel well. It gives you something to focus on as well. Like maybe even, your health's not in poor condition, but maybe it's not exactly where you want it to be either. And simply by just saying, you know what? I'm doing everything I can in my life. Things are not going my way. I am going to focus on my health. Just bringing a goal to the forefront and then attaching actions to it every day can get life back on track for you. because health is the foundation of discernment. When you begin to nourish your body through real food, clean water, deep sleep, movement, prayer, you reconnect to your inner compass. So your clarity, your purpose, and your courage live in the space of vitality. You begin to see possibilities instead of problems just by cleaning up your lifestyle. It'll bring in hope. And health isn't a destination that you achieve, It's an ongoing journey, but it can really be your guiding light towards, the other goals that you have in your life. It's like the foundation that you need to have in place in order to do all the rest of the things that you want to do and get the rest of the results. It's just like, when I was training for my first full marathon many years ago, I was all focused on the experience of the marathon, right? Because my first one I did was in San Francisco, and it was over the Golden Gate Bridge. I had this vision in my mind, like I was going to be running over the Golden Gate Bridge with tens of thousands of people, because it's a huge marathon there. And, that was the experience I wanted. And so that gave me kind of the motivation to do the training. But what I where I really learned about who I was during the training. Because you got to train for a full marathon, right? And you got to go out when you don't feel like going out, and you got to go out even when, the inside of your legs are chafed because you've been running so many miles, and you got toenails falling off because you've been running so many miles. Like, it's a different level of grit that you acquire through a training like that. And that is what I still have with me today, is that level of grit to not quit. And I gained that and understood what I was capable of through that training. So now, in contrast, when things get tough, it's like, man, you did that race, you did all that preparation for that race, and, you got through it. And it just brings things clearer, It's not it wasn't the finish line of the marathon that I truly treasure. It was everything leading up to that. Really. And that I barely remember the finish line now. But I sure have the process of training for a marathon in me now, where it's strengthened my never give up muscle. Absolutely. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take the first step towards better health, and then the next steps will appear. So how do you reconnect when you feel lost emotionally? How do you start this journey? You got to ground yourself, number one, right? So breathe and ground yourself. Get outside. Really start focusing on your physical body, right? Feeling your feet on the earth, feeling your breath in your lungs, letting your nervous system settle. Breath anchors your mind where your body already is in the present moment. The second thing is nourish with intention. Don't eat for entertainment anymore. Very rarely. Eat for celebration, but don't eat for entertainment. So choose foods that are supporting your stability, like protein and healthy fats and healthy fruits and vegetables that are low in sugar. Because when your blood sugar is balanced, your emotions are steadier and your thoughts are clearer. It's just a fact. Food isn't just fuel, it's feedback to your mood. Move to release energy, right? So when your energy gets stuck because of outside stress, gets stuck emotionally, movement helps it flow through your tissues. So walking, stretching, dancing, lifting weights, whatever reminds you that you are strong. What can you do in your physical body that would remind you that you are strong today? I was telling my son this, that, when we were kids, we used to go to the playground, of course, all the time. Basically grew up at a ballpark because my dad played fast pitch baseball when I was a kid. And so it was like, you get out of the car, you run to the play park. And remember they had those just bare stripped metal bars. And we used to just grab onto those bars and spin round and round and round and round, right? And I feel like if I did that now, I think, oh my gosh, it might feel weird, right? I'd probably puke or something. Can I even do that anymore? And so I started hanging out upside down in our gym the other day because I had that conversation with my son. It's like, you just play when you're little. And then when you get older, you stop playing for some reason, right? Because life. And I thought, I want to work up to being able to do that again. Because it's not all about just exercise, right? It's about play. And the more you play, the more mobile you're going to stay as you age. So I've been hanging upside down off the pull-up rack in the weight room. I'm not brave enough yet to try a spin, okay? I'm not brave enough, but I want to work up to that again. Because we should be able to play. That's not an age requirement. Play is not an age, it's like, oh, you're 18, you don't get to play anymore. You just got to look for ways to build play back into your life. Disconnect to reconnect. Step away from screens, noise, and outside opinions. Create a quiet pocket of time with no agenda, no scrolling, just with you and your intuition. And let it speak to you again. Of course, praying and reflecting on gratitude. Gratitude reframes confusion into awareness. Even when you can't see the path, you can thank God for the next breath, right? You can just be grateful for the legs you're standing on. The thing about gratitude is it's contagious. So once you start feeling gratitude for one little thing, it's like the floodgates open and you can start to feel gratitude for so many things. And of course, that changes your vibration, people. Instead of being in this low vibration where life's falling apart and everything's going wrong, just by focusing on your biology, focusing on your health, you can change. Practicing your gratitude, it can change your whole vibration. And of course, like things attract like things. So if you're low vibration, what are you attracting? Low vibrational experiences. Whereas when you're high vibing, it's like you're on a roll. Nothing can go wrong. You're vibing high because all you're doing is attracting high vibration experiences. We are electrical beings. We have a frequency. We're going to talk about that in hour 2 as well. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. We will be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back to Naturally Inspired Radio. We must have gremlins in the house today because the camera's going all funky and I guess we're getting some pixelation and maybe even some skipping. So I apologize for that. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully we've got it figured out now. Everything's just a little off today. Well, maybe that's because of my next story. So anyway, in the first hour, if you're joining us, this is the second hour of Naturally Inspired Radio and we're glad you're here. In the first hour, we were talking about poverty. We've seen a lot of these videos, with EBT recipients freaking out and everyone's saying, entitlement. And I myself was like, my gosh, this is insane. Like people are entitled or whatever. And then I had to kind of think about it. And I'll tell you, anything free, free medicine, free food, we've got a real problem. We've got a real problem with poverty because it's capturing a big demographic of our population. And it's not their fault. They have been exposed to the capture of free things. And, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not claiming to have the answer. I'm just bringing a different perspective to it today, because it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a poverty thing. And the more people we have in poverty, the sicker we are as a nation. I can guarantee you that, because free medicine is definitely bad medicine. And these predatory doctors that are working in free clinics are, just capitalizing on free billing, from government programs for healthcare. There's a special place for those people. There's the polypharmacy. I mean, it's off the rails, you guys. It's off the rails. And later in the show, I'm going to tell you why that happens. You'll understand more, because I'm going to cover a story from a pharmacist that explains it exactly. Anyway, let's get on to the next story today. Oh, first of all, I want to thank all of the new customers that we have. Julie, Bob, Sarah, William, and is it Dorothy? I think it was Dorothy. And I think there was Ted on there as well. So thank you for our new customers, and welcome to the Naturally Inspired community. We are so glad you're here. And I'm so happy that you are pursuing your optimum health. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to change the medical model each and every day, connecting people to real solutions for health and empowering them to make critical decisions about their own health. So we welcome every single person here. Don't forget that you can enter to win as well by going to naturallyinspiredstore.com/win, because we give away prizes every Friday. We give away prizes. So naturallyinspiredstore.com/win, and you can enter to win the giveaway that we do every Friday. So go over there and do that as well. Now I want to get into some more news stories for today, because this was an interesting one. Somebody on X in our community sent this to me, and I thought, oh, this is a great thing to talk about. So October 30th is supposed to be a big day, and this clip will explain. So take a listen and watch.
2025, 6.2 billion people are going to experience a cosmic consciousness shift simultaneously, and I can prove it with simple math. First, you need to know about the Earth's heartbeat, the Schumann resonance, 7.83 hertz. That's the frequency that the Earth vibrates at. Here's the crazy part. When you are in a deep meditative state, your brain literally syncs with 7.83 hertz. We are literally synced to the Earth's frequencies. But on October 30th, something unprecedented is about to happen. 3 massive events are converging. Number 1, the sun is at its solar maximum, the most active it's been in 20 years. Solar flares, magnetic pole reversals, the works. Number 2, an interstellar object called 3I Atlas reaches its closest point to the sun that exact day. We're talking about a city-sized object from another star system. And number 3, the Earth's magnetic field is at its absolute weakest point in the cycle. Here's where the math gets wild. When these 3 things hit at once, the Earth's frequency of 7.83 hertz could be amplified 10 times or more. So instead of 7.83 hertz, you're looking at 78 hertz hitting your brain. Your brain will have no choice but to sync up. That's just how basic entrainment works. It's neuroscience. Here's the math that'll blow your mind. Research shows that you need a square root of 1% of the population to create global change. For 8 billion people, that's 90,000 minds synchronizing at the same time. But with this electromagnetic disruption, we're looking at 2 billion people syncing up simultaneously. That's 22,000 times what we need for critical mass. The mathematics of consciousness says that this will create a global field effect. Your normal consciousness operates at about a 20 hertz normal bandwidth. That's your everyday beta brainwaves. But when Earth's frequency explodes, your brain goes to 100 hertz bandwidth or more. That means you'll access gamma waves, 40 hertz to 100 hertz, which is the frequency associated with higher consciousness, enlightenment, and even psychic abilities. So let's break down the numbers.
I love it. I love this video. So let me just say this, okay? So this is not my area of expertise, right? I'm not a math person at all. And I actually couldn't verify any of the 3 things that he said in this video. The one, the solar flares, I couldn't find any evidence for that. I couldn't find any evidence for the fact that the Earth is going to be at its lowest, electromagnetic field or whatever. The 3 things, I looked them up. I tried to find evidence on them. I couldn't find them. Okay. But here's what I do want to say about this. So the Schumann resonance is real. Okay. That's the Earth's heartbeat. I talk about frequency on here all the time, connecting to frequency. We have so much power at our fingertips as the human race. We have this electromagnetic field within us. It empowers us to connect to other humans. It empowers us to connect to nature, animals. This explains a lot of why, mothers know things. They can feel things that are going on with their kids when they're not even around them. They intuitively know what's best for their babies. A baby cries and a mother lactates. There's a network of frequency that unites us as humans. And this cult that we deal with all the time, the corporate gangsters, these people I'm always talking about, they want to sever that connection. They want to sever that connection because when you are not supported in with that connection in that network, well, you're a heck of a lot more vulnerable to just follow the science, follow what the guy in the white coat tells me. I got to do this because of that. Because what they've done is they've built this little network of society, and this is the way you do things. But it also happens to benefit them. It also happens to benefit their investments. It also happens to benefit, their agenda. And all I'm saying is come back to yourself, because you haven't forgotten, you haven't lost the ability to tune into your higher faculties. You've just ignored them, and you've been conditioned to believe that they don't exist. And so this guy talking about this, I thought, well, this is great. I don't know if any of those things are going to happen on the 30th, the solar flares, the interstellar object he's talking about, and the magnetic field being weak. I don't know about all that. Perhaps it is. But what if everybody just set their intention on coming together on October 30th? So maybe this story gets out there and maybe people think, I'm going to be a lot more in tune and maximize my efforts to connect on the 30th. I mean, what could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong, right? If you just want to connect to your humanness and try to raise your higher faculties, then why not? If you've never heard of the Schumann resonance, it's a set of very low frequency electromagnetic field waves that exist in the cavity between Earth's surface and the ionosphere. The fundamental frequency is about 7.83 hertz, with several higher harmonics, 14 hertz, 20 hertz, 26 hertz. And these are created by global lightning discharges that excite this cavity. And imagine Earth's atmosphere ringing like a bell after a lightning strike. So in simple terms, the Earth's base resonance is about 7.83 hertz, and that's a measured physical property. It's not just like a theory or like a weird woo-woo thing. It's real. And human brain frequencies, human brain patterns also operate in certain frequency bands measured by EEG. So notice that theta is about 4 to 8 hertz, and that overlaps almost exactly with 7.83 hertz from the Schumann resonance. So that's why some researchers and even spiritual teachers point out that when humans enter deep prayer or meditative states, their brain activity often slows into theta range and synchronizes with the Earth's natural frequency. So from a spiritual or holistic perspective, many traditions suggest that we enter deep prayer or gratitude or meditation, and our brain and heart rhythms entrain or sync with the Earth's electromagnetic field. Studies in heart-brain coherence, like HeartMath, great institution, HeartMath, show that deep compassion or prayer and appreciation produce a more harmonious electromagnetic signature in the body. So from a scientific perspective, it's true that EEG readings during deep prayer often fall near the Schumann band. So it's a very good possibility. This is what I've been talking about as the antidote to artificial intelligence, is humans coming together to raise our higher faculties. Megan, who knows? Maybe one day we'll all be psychic because we're able to raise our ability. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Rachel from Colorado said, I started taking liquid collagen after seeing Tammy talk about how important it is for skin elasticity. Within a few weeks, my skin felt smoother, my nails stopped breaking, and even my hairdresser noticed a difference. Tammy helped me stay consistent, and I'm so glad I did. Collagen, we're losing it 1% a year from the age of 25, and it leads to wrinkles, sagging skin, joint stiffness. But not only that, collagen, it provides the mucosa that lines our gastrointestinal system. It is vital in the thin tissue in our heart. And all thin tissue in the body. It keeps things lubricated so that we can move. It is collagen equals mobility, which equals independence. So it's not just about the aesthetic. I know we hear a lot about collagen being, wrinkles and all that stuff. And yeah, that's great. It does help with that. But also it helps keep your organs healthy. And your fascia. That's where you actually connect with people. That is where a lot of the frequency is detected, is through your fascia. So if your fascia is dried out, or if it's stiffened up, you're just not going to be as mobile, and you're going to not be able to tune in either as well. So get your collagen today. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/collagen, naturallyinspiredstore.com/collagen, or text me if you have questions about collagen, 720-303-8868. So interesting conversation, about higher faculties and frequency and, just raising Team Human up overall. If we were all kind of focused on, these fights that are starting all the time, these division fights, right? Like, oh, the black people are getting more EBT. Oh, the white people are holding down the black people. And, it's like, oh, the LGBTQ, and we should be able, It's endless. And it doesn't serve the people. It serves the establishment. It serves the corporate gangsters. It serves the agenda that we are in a battle with right now. People need to understand our very way of life is on the chopping block. We have a train coming down the tracks with artificial intelligence and the digital revolution. Our healthcare, our disease care system is broken beyond, comprehension at this point, as I find out every day, as I hear, people being put on 16 or 18 medications. Like, it's broken beyond belief. We have these big problems, and it's not doing us any good to fight with each other. We really got to find some common ground here for the foundation of society. Having this tough conversations about what we want the digital revolution to look like. They don't want us to have that conversation, you guys. They don't want us to have that conversation about the ethics around artificial intelligence and the consequences from the digital revolution. And do we really want to merge body with technology? Do we want the biological revolution? The impact on society of that. Like, these are important conversations. And we're not having them as long as we're fighting over who's getting EBT and, whatever. And I'm not saying it's good, Those videos irritate me as well. But they keep us on the surface fighting in the darkness rather than, trying to upregulate these higher faculties that we possess so that we can connect better as humans for the betterment of everybody. It's not by mistake. Here's a great video I wanted to share with you. This is a professor, and I didn't get his name on this because I think it's just kind of a generic video that was floating around. But this is an explanation about why our kids especially are so drawn to things like video games, but yet it's hard to read or do homework. Like, what's going on here? Why is this so difficult? Well, take a listen. He explains.
Child can play video games for hours and cannot do homework for more than a few minutes because the video game provides external, continuous, 100% consequences for interacting with it, and the homework does nothing. When a problem is solved on a sheet of paper, nothing happens. The consequences are delayed, and therein lies the trouble. So the corollary of this is if you want to see an ADHD person fail, you put him in any environment where there are no consequences, and I guarantee you failure. The work will not get done because the person cannot self-motivate. And this is not a choice, and this is not willful, and this is not a child who just could, if they wished, wake up tomorrow and smell the coffee and get busy and do the work. They cannot. This is an internal, neurogenetic, executive failure. You can't self-motivate like other people. So it doesn't matter what your goals are, you won't get there.
Okay, so, I got a lot to say about this video. We're just not quite getting it right, I wanted to play it because I acknowledge what this man is saying, okay? And everything he says in the first half, I'm like, yeah, it's true. There is no immediate consequence from homework. There is no immediate consequence from reading a book. Okay. However, and I know I'm going to piss some people off here. However, this is not a medical diagnosis. This is not a medical diagnosis. Let me tell you what's going on here, okay? This is called conditioning. You are not born with ADHD, okay? You are conditioned. Your neural pathways are conditioned for immediate gratification. And this is done through modern technology. This is done through style of learning. You have an attraction to a style of learning based on who you are. Okay? Some people learn very well from visual. Some people learn very well from auditory. Some people learn very well kinetically, right? They have to do. Do you ever feel like that? Like, hey, just show me, don't tell me what to do. Just show me what to do. I'll watch, then I'll do it. You tell me if I'm right. Bingo, bango, bongo, learned. Right? That's how a lot of us learn. So it isn't there's no test for ADHD. Now, we know people who struggle with detox pathways are more prone to experiencing communication or signals from their body that make it hard for them to concentrate. Okay. But that's kind of a whole other ball of wax. That's like the inability to detox. Okay. This other thing he's talking about here, guess what it does? Victim. You're a victim. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. You know what it's called? It's called understanding how you learn. We sit people, everybody, in classrooms and we tell them, sit still and listen to us talk to you. Ba, 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 ba. Yet we know people learn differently. We know there's an auditory learner, there's a visual learner, there's a kinesthetic. Like, why would we not work with people's strengths? No, don't work with people's strengths. Put a round peg in a square hole and make it work. And if you don't, we're going to punish you. Like, it's 2025. And yet we have almost no evolve. We haven't evolved our school system much at all. It's still sit in the chair and listen to someone talk. Right? Sit and listen. Sit and listen. So what's happening is there's a conditioning in modern world today, and it's conditioning people for instant gratification. And when you don't get it, when you don't get instant gratification, well, you're bored. You're bored. And it's so strong because the conditioning and the neural pathways have been built that way. And we build our neural pathways and build this learning from 0 to 7. It's hard to undo it. And so it becomes to feel like it's impossible to undo it. Not true. Not true. You are not a victim. You are not a victim. You got to understand how the brain works. You're building neural pathways from birth. I liken it to this. So imagine you're standing in an open meadow, right? And the grass is tall and it's, weaving in the wind. And there's one dirt path in that meadow. Just one pathway where it's been walked on so many times that the dirt is showing, and this is the only path I see. And so I take the path. Even though at the end of the path, the view sucks. But you come up on the path every day and you go, there's only one path, so I got to take that path. You get to the end of the path, view sucks. That's your neural pathways. That's your thinking patterns. So imagine you get to the meadow one day and you go, okay, there's one path here, but what if I just walk through the grass over here and start beating down a new pathway? Maybe there'll be a different view over here. Guess what? There is. There is a different view. So you start walking that way, and pretty soon that pathway starts to get worn down and through the grass as well. And pretty soon you start to see the dirt there. And this pathway becomes the new habit of thinking. We're not even being given the chance to build a new pathway when we are victimized with diagnosis that we think we're just, I'm sunk. I got ADD. I'm sunk. No, you're not. You can build new pathways. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know that your gut health affects 90% of your mood and your immune function? And it can improve dramatically. Happening here every day on Naturally Inspired with Naturally Inspired. Sometimes in just a couple of weeks, you start getting the right support and things totally turn around. So Samantha from Georgia said this: Tammy helped me understand how my digestion and stress were connected. Within a month, my bloating was gone, my mood lifted, and I feel lighter inside and out. Her weekly workshops help keep me motivated and inspired. So come into the Naturally Inspired community. I'm inviting you personally. You get a 90-day plan with me. You get priority access to my text line. You get VIP access to the weekly wellness workshops. So schedule your free lifestyle assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. If you have questions about this assessment, what's it going to be like? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is going to be like, I think people, I don't know if I should do this. Listen, I don't judge. The world's not set up for you to be perfect with your health, let me tell you. It's actually designed for the opposite. And so I do not judge, but I am here to help you get on your optimum health path if you're ready. So text me, 720-303-8868, or go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. I look forward to connecting with you and you being a part of this fantastic community. So as I said before, free medicine is not free. By any stretch of the imagination, free medicine is not free. It is very expensive. This pharmacist, God bless him, Lord Jesus, put your protection around him because we are dealing with corporate gangsters here. And I left his little endorsement in there because I think good for him. Take a listen to this.
My wife and I own this pharmacy, and we're a cost-plus pharmacy, which means that we don't take insurance. We just charge the price of the medication plus $10. This medication is called imatinib, and it costs us $7 to buy. We add $10, so you're out the door, $17 with your cancer medication. When Medicare pays for this drug, however, it costs them $2,400. This drug was filled 250,000 times in 1 year for a total of $600 million. So why are they paying this much for that medication? Well, insurance companies pay a middleman, the pharmacy benefits manager. And that person decides how much that medication is going to cost. Will that medication be covered? All of those questions go through the pharmacy benefits manager. And this person doesn't get paid just a flat fee. They get paid a percentage. So their incentivization is to raise the cost of the medication. If every one of those scripts was filled at our pharmacy instead of through Medicare, it would have cost $4 million. That means that we are $596 million cheaper than the insurance. That's crazy. Don't let yourself be overcharged as bad as Medicare is. Check your prices on forestparkpharmacy.com. We have a price checker. You can see everything. Send us a request for a medication price if it's not on there, and we'll take care of you. See you.
Yeah. This is what I've been talking about when I say, most people know that big pharma bad. Big pharma's pretty scummy, pretty shady for sure. They're pumping out products like crazy. They rarely do science, actually. They just look for ways to develop new products. But big insurance, worse. And I'll tell you, the pharmacy benefit managers that he's talking about there, you know who owns those? A lot of insurance companies. They started buying them up. So, they can negotiate their own prices, and then they get paid by the government with your tax dollars to the tune of, what was it? $2,400 for a $17 medication? A $7 medication, actually. The $10 was just the flat fee that this, pretty smart pharmacist has figured out. How much money do you think goes into cancer prevention? Really educating people about metabolic health and cancer prevention. How much do you think goes into that? I bet I could guess. This should outrage you. This should outrage you to the point people are still paying, this incredibly evil operation. This isn't just like, oh, we didn't know. Come on. This is evil. Think about that. A $2,400 medication. Now think about, the person I was talking about earlier in the show on 16 or 18 medications. I can't remember which it was now. Think about that. Medicaid's getting billed, Medicare's getting billed for that, right? Ridiculous. Remember when we were talking earlier this week about the fall of Rome, right? And we were talking about gluttony and sloth. Gluttony. We've gotten so greedy. These corporate gangsters have gotten so greedy that the people are starting to understand. When they were skimming before, it was like, but now we're at peak greed, right? Think of Doge, right? Think of Doge and all the money that these BS NGOs were getting paid out, all because of their network, you guys. Because all these scumbags that work in the swamp or whatever, they're all connected. So-and-so, oh yeah, we're going to get you a grant for your NGO. And, none of this, a fraction of the charity money actually goes to the solution that they claim to be solving for the impoverished or we got so many problems here in our own country. You would think that we'd be able to solve obesity in people that are on food stamps. Just the proof is right there. Right? Food stamps, you would think, a government assistance program like food stamps, you would think it would be going to somebody who was starving. Right? Because, if you can't afford food, then I would assume that you'd been, skipping meals and eating light. So that would mean that you would be thin. But yet, every video we see online, these people are obese. And not 20 pounds overweight. Sometimes 50, 100 pounds overweight or more. And that is because the food they are eating is absolute poison. It's absolute poison. You overeat on it because it has no nutrient density. You overeat on it because your dopamine is going crazy off of the excitotoxins in it, the chemicals in it. There's no nutritional value in that food. The American taxpayer, you're just like, what are we doing? How do you fix this? You stop buying into the system. you just stop. You just stop, right? Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not supporting these corporate gangsters by buying their products. I'm not paying these premiums, it's self-empowerment. You have to make some critical decisions on your own. I don't give advice here, but, the writing's on the wall. It's like, when someone calls an ambulance and they don't have insurance, that ambulance ride is somewhere around $500. But if you have insurance, the ambulance ride is like somewhere between $2,400 and $3,000 because your insurance paid. These prices are negotiated. These companies, these insurance companies, not only are they poking our eyes out here, but they're actually getting subsidies as well. Like, how much money do you need? Meanwhile, you've got workers out here in the real world, living with real world consequences, grinding it out every day. And not taking part in any of the free medicine or the free food supply or anything like that. Because, gosh, why would you want to? You're just a road to disaster. But, like, you're just trying to do the right thing, right? Just trying to live right. We don't even know how this is going. We didn't even know how this is playing out here and how horrific it is. Like, it's, you hear it in politics all the time. Like, when you get a truth teller in politics, which we rarely do, but sometimes we do. And they tell you, it's worse than you could ever imagine. Yeah, because all of this stuff is bought and paid for. It's like the food lobby. They lobby for foods to be given away for free so that it's paid for by Medicare or Medicaid. Like, it's all a racket. It is all a racket. And then, we're blaming each other. We're out here fighting each other because, well, you voted for that side and you guys. The left-right paradigm is a joke. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't good people in government. I do think there's a handful, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anymore. There's maybe a handful in there trying to do some good work. But the whole thing is so toxic, corrupt. It's going to take a lot of time, I think, to turn it around. But you know what? The power is with the people. But the language they understand is money. And that seems to be the only language they understand. So, you protest, you do this, ain't nothing going to change. These people aren't going to jail. Vote with your dollars. Vote with your dollars and vote where you go, right? Like, take action, learn about your health. It's actually pretty basic stuff. It's not like you have to go to school and get a PhD to understand how to curate health in your body. Sugar's toxic. Okay. High amounts of sugar through carbohydrates and refined sugars is toxic. It'll lead to metabolic dysfunction. So clean up the diet, right? A lot of things can happen just from cleaning up the diet. A lot of things. Movement, stress management. Like, it's not rocket science. You can definitely feel better. If you're not feeling well today, I know you can feel better. We'll be right back. Your health topic up next. We're going to be talking about salt and sugar. Salt and sugar. So stay tuned. You want to hear this.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
We're back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. So glad you joined me today. Hey, I'm going to be on a Red Pill Project tonight. Red Pill Project tonight. If you're a fan of the Red Pill Project, I'm going to be on there tonight. I would encourage you to go to redpillhealthscore.com, redpillhealthscore.com, and do the little quiz I have set up for the Red Pillars, and book your assessment with me. It's going to be fun. Josh and I always have a lively discussion about something, so I know it'll be a good one. So join us tonight. I'll be on there at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for the Red Pill Project. So join us. And if you have questions about the assessment or you want to book one, 720-303-8868. Okay, for today's health topic, I want to talk about salt and I want to talk about sugar. Okay, so let's go to the clip first because one of my favorites, researcher and PhD Ben Bickman, explains it perfectly. So take a listen.
Humans cut back their salt considerably, they become insulin resistant. So you take a healthy group of humans, say you need to eat less salt, and they do so. If you measure them a week later while they're adhering to this, they will be significantly more insulin resistant than before they ever cut back their salt. It's one of the ironies of the whole scenario where a physician may be telling a patient with high blood pressure, you need to cut back your salt. And they end up eating less salt, and yet their blood pressure gets worse. It's because the main contributor to high blood pressure is insulin resistance, and by telling them to cut back on their salt, you made them more insulin resistant. And that whole mechanism is because one of insulin's many, many effects is to want the body to hold on to salt and water. And so if you start cutting your salt, all of a sudden insulin says, well, there's little salt coming in. I need to do what I can to retain whatever salt we do have. And so it starts retaining salt and water more in order to try to offset the lack of salt coming in. And while insulin's going higher and higher, the body's becoming more and more insulin resistant.
Oh boy, this is such a ball of wax, And you know what causes water retention? Oh, blood pressure medication. It's like, oh my gosh. So here's the thing. I learned a long time ago from one of my teachers, Dr. Joe Wallach, taught about salt and the lie of how salt causes hypertension, right? It actually, the lack of salt is what many people are dealing with their stomach acid. They have been told, oh, you have GERD or you have indigestion or heartburn and you need to take this PPI to be able to resolve it. And the truth of the matter is that you're low on salt. And salt helps you build your stomach acid. So it's not that you have too much acid. It's actually that you don't have enough acid in your stomach to make sure it stays in place. Right? Because you can have some of the acid reflux that comes up. That's because you don't have enough acid to keep it in place, which is down, right, in the stomach area. So there's so many lies in the web of deceit when it comes to this. I also want to talk about sugar because sugar is toxic, as I have said many times before. But I do want to make the difference between natural sugar and added sugar, because a lot of people have asked me about this. It's like, well, dairy, because I'm a big promoter of full-fat dairy, because dairy is a wonderful source of protein, and the body needs lots of protein, right, in order to maintain the hunger hormone and the satiety hormone functioning properly. When we're talking about weight, when we're talking a lot about health markers, we do have to try to decode where the hormones are, because insulin's a hormone, right? Ghrelin's a hormone, leptin's a hormone. And when any one of these hormones is off, it can throw everything off balance. And you get spikes in cortisol that wake you up in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you're getting too much, insulin. You have insulin resistance where you can't. So it's important to remember that the body is synergistic. Right? And it's not about just one thing. Oh, if I just take this supplement, if I just do this, if I just do that. It doesn't work that way. It's about curating a lifestyle, right? That promotes optimum health. And so number one thing you can do is get all the fake food out of your life, right? Dairy's not a fake food. And yes, it has natural sugar in milk, right? Lactose is a natural sugar in milk. But here's the difference. It's a natural sugar that's balanced by nutrients. So it's not the same as added sugar. Added sugars, like high fructose corn syrup, they're added during processing or preparation, especially in pop or cereals, baked goods, anything that comes like, bag of cookies, box of cookies, and they're rapidly absorbed, and it spikes your blood sugar and your insulin. And there's not a lot of added nutritional value to that type of added sugar. It contributes to inflammation. It contributes to insulin resistance. It causes fatty liver, and then weight gain as well. So added sugars are not naturally part of whole foods, and they don't bring nutrients. So they're purely for taste and entertainment. Okay? Natural sugars are not harmful for the body. They come packaged with nature's buffer system, if you will. So natural sugars in food like fruit, dairy, and vegetables, they're accompanied by fiber. They have water in them. They have vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and this slows down how quickly sugar is absorbed into your bloodstream. And it prevents the rapid spikes and crashes caused by, say, things like unnatural sugars or refined sugar. So like eating an apple with fiber, pectin, and antioxidants, it causes a gentle rise in blood sugar, whereas drinking apple juice causes a sharp spike. And that's a difference. Apple juice is highly processed, right? So, what we've done in this way of like taking what occurs naturally and synthesizing it into another food group or a food product, that's the problem. That's the problem. So your body knows how to handle natural sugars. They're simple energy sources, glucose and fructose that your body uses to fuel cells, muscles, and brain function. And when they're consumed in whole foods, your liver and pancreas can manage this steady supply without strain. So problems arise only when we overload the system with added or refined sugars that flood the bloodstream too quickly. They're paired with nutrients that support metabolism. So whole fruits, root vegetables, and dairy all contain nutrients that aid sugar metabolism, like magnesium, like potassium, like B vitamins. And these nutrients help insulin function properly and reduce oxidative stress. Refined sugars, on the other hand, they deplete these nutrients. So not only are they not providing you nutrients, but they rob you of nutrients at the same time. So they actually leave your body in a deficit. They don't add anything. They also natural sugar doesn't trigger addiction like the way we do with processed sugars. Because processed sugars are engineered to hit the brain's dopamine centers, just like a drug. And make no mistake about it. Things like, toaster pastries and all these processed foods, they are formed in laboratories. Again, these ideas are hatched at a corporate table somewhere, where people say, what could we sell the people more of? I bet you can't just eat one. Health is low on the list. It is low on the list. And the way these foods, how come the FDA allows foods like this? How come the seed? Because it's pay to play. And they get away with it when they say, well, when eaten in moderation, right? But what they don't tell you, it's safe when it's eaten in moderation. And they get approval on one product. It's safe when it's eaten in moderation. What they don't look at is the fact that people are eating multiple of those products every single day, and nobody's eating a quarter cup of cereal for breakfast. Nobody's eating half a cup of cereal for breakfast, right? Nobody's measuring it out. You're pouring a whole bowl of cereal. You're probably eating 4 or 5 servings of what's recommended to be safe and healthy. Like, context is everything. Natural sugar is only bad when it's extracted, so dehydrated. Like I always use this example. You can eat a whole bowl of grapes, a big mixing bowl of grapes, right? And it'll have 15 grams of sugar in it. And but if you eat like a good fistful of raisins, you're looking at 100 grams of sugar. So it's because it's condensed. The water's taken out of it. Nature is taken out of it. When we take nature out of our food, it leads to problems. So think about that. The real enemy is not necessarily like all sugar. It is the isolation and the processing of sugars. Nature takes care of things. It's really a marvel. If you get into it like a dork like I do, it is a marvel, because it works in synergy. Nature works in synergy with your biology, and it knows exactly what to do with the information of whole food that you feed it with. The problem is all this processed food, your body doesn't know what to do with that. And when it doesn't know what to do with that, it puts up with it for years and years and years because it's so incredible and so resilient. But at some point, the bucket gets overfilled and it just starts, overflowing with inflammation, with dysfunction. And then we get told, oh, stay away from salt. That's your problem. Salt. No, it isn't. It's sugar. It's sticky blood. It's glycation. And because you have no salt and you're not hydrating with salt, you're dehydrated because you actually need salt to pull it into the cell to hydrate the body. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And I don't know how we got so misinformed. Actually, I do know how we got so misinformed because of consumerism. We are super consumers, and that wasn't by accident. Edward Bernays is the godfather of that, spawning, matching, partnering entertainment with food, right? Tying your favorite cartoon characters to your breakfast cereal. It's your emotions, people. Your emotions are constantly being weaponized against you. Constantly. It's not your fault. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then it's time to act. Join us, the Naturally Inspired community. For those of you joining us tonight on the Red Pill, we'll see you in a couple hours. Everybody else, see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com. Or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites. And click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, Explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.